So here we are. This is the first of 15 topics that will get you up to speed on the basics of crypto. No crypto course can be considered complete if we don't spend at least a little time explaining what money is and how we define it. Topic 1, the wild history of money. Money goes back a long way in history, but back in 9000 BC, it didn't look anything like it does today. As a matter of fact, it didn't exist at all back then. Humans began their path to the money of today by bartering. As an initial option, it wasn't a bad idea, but bartering is not the easiest method of exchanging value. I mean, you do have to find someone who has something you want, and when you do, you must have something they want in order to strike a deal. You might be able to do this quickly today, but remember, we're talking about 9000 BC. Communicating with others wasn't as easy as sending a text or an email. Over a period of approximately 7,800 years, humans used various items to barter and exchange with. We used things like camels, cows, spices, various different types of silks, some weapons, and even figurines in an attempt to reach something better. What they were unknowingly seeking was something that would improve the system of exchange and ultimately make the transactions easier. After all those years, the next evolution of money came in 1200 BC in China. China developed a currency system using the shell you see here. It's called a cowrie shell. It is a sea snail that can only be found in the Pacific and Indian Oceans. This was a major upgrade. You could now come to an agreement on what they were worth, others accepted them as having value, and best yet, you could comfortably transport them without major effort. It improved money on many levels, but it had its flaws as well. Forward 600 years, we come upon the area of Lydia, which is present-day Turkey. Lydia is credited with creating the first coin-based system using their coin made out of electrum alloy, which is a mixture of silver and gold. It was called the Lydia Lion. At this point, coins began to take hold, but it would take another 1,300 years before paper currency, called banknotes, would begin to show up and be accepted. China had been using them for several years in the form of privately issued notes, but these weren't for everyday use with the general public. It wasn't until Marco Polo brought this new paper currency back to Europe around 1200 AD that it really gained traction. Once paper money started to expand from Europe, it began to circle the globe and became the standard for countries everywhere. It seemed a combination of coins and bills were here to stay. Things would stay this way for an additional 750 years, at least where the United States is concerned. We had a few milestones along the way, though, like in 1792 when we passed the Coinage Act. This act created our official monetary system and gave life to the U.S. dollar. Then in 1933, President Franklin D. Roosevelt closed all the banks in the country due to a run on gold. That's because the banks actually held the gold back then. As much gold as possible was collected across the country, and a lot of it landed at Fort Knox in Kentucky. We were still using the gold standard to back our currency, but the supply of money was already exceeding the amount of gold needed to continue this process. As most of us know, President Nixon would ultimately remove us, and consequently the planet, from the gold standard in 1971. So far, we've come from bartering to an established system of coins and paper bills. We started clear back in 9000 BC and have progressed to approximately the mid-1950s. This has been an 11,000-year process. Things are about to speed up considerably. Due to how quickly we have advanced in technology, the modernization of money has sped up as well. In 1950, the first true credit card, the Diners Club card, was issued. It was only intended for a select group of about 200 people, but in less than a year, it had 20,000 members. From there, we get Visa, MasterCard, and many more credit and debit cards. Money is quickly transformed from coins and bills that you hold in your hand to pieces of plastic that electronically transfer your funds to whomever you choose. We still use this process every day, but that hasn't stopped money from evolving. In 1990, there were two little-known companies, Confinity.com and X.com, that were working on a truly digital payment system. They merged together and formed PayPal. PayPal changed the world. Now money could be transferred from computer to computer, and it happened within seconds. The final step on our journey through the history of money ends with digital currency, and that's where we are today. Bitcoin led the way in 2008, and many cryptocurrencies have followed since. Why and how Bitcoin and crypto are different than the money we use today is the focus of this course. Please watch this 1-minute summary of the material we just covered, and then you'll be prepared to move on to topic 2.